Thank you, Ed. Thank you, everyone. Everyone in the room and everyone on the internet. Today, I've been asked to talk about the biggest of plans. I've got an awful lot to cover. I am infamous for talking too much. I'm only beaten by John Patterson over there, so I shall try and keep it as concise as I can. Stay to the script for once. Today, our species is at an existential turning point, and world leaders, and including my co-director Stephen Sykes, is preparing to gather in Brazil for the United Nations COP30 climate conference. It's now 10 years since the world agreed on the 2030 agenda, including the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Together, they are a shared blueprint for our planet, for peace and prosperity. But I'm not here to talk about 2030 as a distant deadline. I'm here to talk about it as a career path. I'm here to talk about the how. But before I talk about the how, let's remind ourselves after lunch in Liverpool, maybe not wherever you are, about the why we need this big plan. So I'm going to hand over to someone infinitely more charismatic to get your attention.
This is Al Pacino. The world has an epic plan called the Global Goals. And it's halftime. I don't know what to say, really. Here, we heal as a team. We're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now. And we can stay here, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. On this team, we fight for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's going to make the difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face. Now I can't make you do it. You gotta look at the guy next to you. Now I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're gonna see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're gonna do the same for him. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals. Now, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Okay, so hopefully that got people's attention. Reminds us why we're all here, spiritually, humanely. But this conference is about shaping the future of skills for a fair and a sustainable transition. This is the most critical conversation we can be having. None of the 45 key climate indicators for limiting warming to 1.5 degrees of the Paris Agreement are on track. None. We're only on track for 18% of the Sustainable Development Goals, and we're 2/3 of the way through it. The now guaranteed disruption will be overwhelming for us all, but it will be the most severe for those least able to adapt, both at home and abroad. This is not just about stereotypical starving kids in Africa, it's about kids in Liverpool and every city. You simply cannot have a thriving economy without a thriving society. And you can't have a society that thrives without a flourishing biosphere. There is a hierarchy here, folks. Social wins votes, we get that, but the climate is going to change everything. The twin transition of the conference also needs to be seen as a conjoined twin, not two separate people. The transition through climate mitigation and adaptation and the digital transition are the two most powerful forces of our time and are foundationally interconnected, as are all the SDGs. Whilst the SDGs are indeed an influential impact measurement framework and also the most powerful social impact brand, it's the 2030 agenda that surrounds and binds them, especially through some of these core principles shown here, but often overlooked. But more powerful than the 17 badges we often see on corporate communications and glossy brochures. Think of the SDGs like an IKEA flat pack. It's a bunch of components, but the 2030 agenda is the instruction guide. But most people have never seen the 2030 agenda and don't understand it. Because if you try to build something from IKEA without the instructions, you're going to end up with a wonky door and an angry wife. This is the reality, and has been the reality for some time. We have the what, we have the blueprint, the SDGs and the 2030 agenda. We have the why. We all want a sustainable future for our families and our future generations. But we don't have the how. We have a massive and still growing sustainability skills and competencies gaps. We are still trying to build a new world without the blueprints, the architects, the builders, and not really, if we're honest, engaging the commissioners, the young people, the world that we're going to provide to them. So where does this happen? It doesn't happen in New York. It happens here, where we are today, in Liverpool. It happens in all of our cities, villages, streets, communities, regions, schools. Pick your definition. All of the solutions to the global goals are local actions somewhere. SDG localization is one of the biggest movements inside the ongoing modernization of the United Nations and will be central to the design of the post-2030 agenda, which will be here before we all know it. This is where 2030 Hub has operated for almost 10 years now, bringing the UN and SDGs to Liverpool and taking Liverpool out to and through the UN to the world. We are the world's first UN recognised local 2030 hub, and every single day we are training or educating somebody, and a lot of people who we shouldn't have to. We also believe in encouraging the private sector, most of all, to step up, hence our B Corp certification to lock in our mission. Our focus was around the Liverpool City region from day one, but our impact successes have taken us around the world amongst the most prestigious of leadership and grassroots audiences. This year alone, we were invited by King Charles, the Sustainable Markets Initiative, and also invited by Project Everyone to bring Liverpool to the launch of the new UN International Day of Hope, alongside London, New York and Johannesburg. But our passion was always for the world to follow Liverpool. with pioneering and award-winning projects catalysed through SDG advocacy, engagement and capacity building. My personal highlights from that list include Liverpool becoming one of the world's first cities to commit to the SDGs and mapping them, Global Goals Week campaigns engaging with thousands of local, ordinary people, and supporting markets in Liverpool through education for the city to win the Most Improved Sustainable Destination Award back in 2023. But even a perfect city-level ecosystem, the where, will fail if it's missing the most important ingredient, the who, the people. The skilled workforce to power the new economy that the planet is demanding. We began to formalise years of earned capacity building experience into a more holistic offer than we currently offer. This document in particular, the Ready, Willing and Able report from Project Everyone, was key to informing that approach. We need to redefine skills. This, I believe, is one of the core themes of SIF 25. When we talk about green skills, we can't just mean a new solar panel installer, or a wind turbine engineer, or a retrofit insulation installer. We need a new operating system for every worker. We need accountants who understand carbon reporting. We need marketers who can spot greenwashing. We need HR managers who can build decent jobs. We need supply chain leaders who can demand transparency. We need local entrepreneurs to know that solving global problems can deliver a fair profit. We need doctors who can provide nature or prescribe nature and for it to be locally available and to be managed. We need charities to scale their impacts beyond just their local neighbourhoods. We need to empower young people to challenge us all to do better. But most, we need to catalyse hope and connect communities more than ever. This is not just a nice to have. It is the essential skilling, upskilling and reskilling challenge of our time. And it's why we're going to be launching the 2030 Academy in 2026. 5 years later than planned, folks. Sorry, COVID got in the way. We might have to change the name on that one. Following 10 years of doing this every single day. We're also going to be creating a new charitable mechanism to roll out 2030hub and our ecosystem into other cities around the world. For me, the 2030 Academy is our answer to the gap. It's a new training offer focused on 4 pillars, but all built on the foundations of the 2030 agenda. It is sustainability literacy, not carbon literacy. It is sustainability competencies. We've got to know how to use those skills, but it's got to be blended with citizenship. It has to be. It has to be locally relevant and communities seeing improvements. And most importantly, it's got to be local. We can't dictate, the UN can't be seen to be dictating what happens in Liverpool or any city. We've seen quite a backlash to even the thought of that in recent times. This is just one example of a project we delivered in September with the Witherslack Group. We curated, created and facilitated the delivery of a week of both skills and competency training to 2,000 special educational needs students across the UK in 36 schools. It was the first time any school had taken that approach. We're 10 years into the SDGs. Why are we only starting to do this now? And hopefully we can share the impact report for that very soon. In conclusion, the SDGs, whilst imperfect, give us the best current agreed interconnection map. It's the people in this room, the educators, the policy makers, the industry leaders who must lead the way. The time is now to be bold. By focus on skills and decent work, we can equip a new generation to build the future we were all promised in 2015. What are you going to do? Thank you.